And being someone like me who started from no experience, no background in tech, and not even a thought to get into the industry, to gaining experience, getting into management positions, and being able to forge my own path has been super fun. And I think shows the impact that startups can have. What's up, guys? It's your girl, 𝐭𝐚𝐠𝐬. Welcome back to the channel. And if you're new here, welcome. I'm really excited you're here because in today's video, we are going to be talking about something that I have honestly been wanting to share with you guys for such a long time, maybe since I've started this channel, because I know that there are a lot of people in this community who are looking to break into tech and learn new skill sets, or you're in a position in your career where you're looking to take it to the next level. And if there was one thing that helped me the most in getting from being a person who had no experience or no background in tech to now in a successful career in tech that I feel has longevity, it was working for startups. And there's so much I want to get into with you guys because working for startups was what gave me the opportunity to go from no experience to management, no experience to having six-figure salary, like being able to really grow in a short period of time, comparing it to what my career may have been if I stuck to the more corporate established companies. I'm not sure I would have been able to evolve in my career so much over a 5 to 6 year period. So let's just get right into it because there's so much to talk about. Okay, so just to give you a brief overview, I broke into tech through a startup company that I was working for locally in the city that I live in, which is Pittsburgh. There's a lot of startups here, and the one that I was working for was an artificial intelligence-based company. I started out doing quality assurance for that company, which was a job that I was able to be trained for in-house. And within, I would say, 6 months of that company, I was given opportunity for leadership. And within a year, I was the manager and the head of the whole quality assurance department in that startup. That's not really a thing that happens in regular established companies. So just giving you some context of that. And now I work for a startup that I've been with for a little over a year, and I've been able to evolve a lot in that position as well. Even though the position I'm in now is not a technical one, it is a marketing one. I still use all of the tech experience and background that I had built up over this first startup I was working for, learning how to code, going to boot camp, and all of that. All of that I use in the position I'm in currently. The first reason why I think startups are worth it is because, as I mentioned with my first experience, a lot of startups are more open to bringing people in who might have a smaller amount or limited amount of experience in certain areas, knowing that we got to bring people in to train them anyway. With my company, I was very open to hiring people from all different kinds of backgrounds and experiences because I realized that regardless of where they came from, I was going to have to train them on our specific processes and models. So I think that looking for startups with opportunity where they will bring you in early and train you and let you come in from the ground floor, you're going to be able to do that a lot more in a startup than you might in a more established company where you're in one team that focuses on one aspect of the business and you might not get to cross-collaborate as much with others. Which kind of brings me naturally into my next point, which is that you have more of an opportunity to cross-collaborate and see into other areas of the business that you might not have ever had access to if you were in a more established FANG company. All of the startup positions that I've been in, I might be in one department, but I was working closely with other people in other departments all of the time. I got to see that growth happening quickly over time and build relationships and connections with those people in the company. And because of that, I was able also to test the waters in other areas. So I was able to give pitches and trainings to our partners because I was interested in getting into the business side of things. I was able to shadow our CEO and learn from him a little bit more because he was constantly bringing in investors and things like that. And in my current position, I'm able to see all aspects of the business. And that's something that I really enjoy about startup life. But as I'm talking, I'm sure you might feel a little overwhelmed and wondering, how do I get into these types of positions? How do I get my foot in the door, especially if you're someone with no experience, if you're someone who really wants to be able to find a career that is fully remote, like the one I have found. I didn't have experience when I broke into tech, and there are so many ways now that you can break into tech. One way that I really recommend to those of you who are coming into tech with no experience is the sponsor of today's video, Careerist. Careerist does not require a coding or tech background in order to get started in its programs. You'll attend live classes, you'll get an online internship to be able to practice what you've learned, and you'll also get one-on-one guidance from a mentor. There is support at every stage of the way until you land a job. Something that I think sets Careerist apart is the fact that Careerist graduates get high-paying jobs. I think their average is between $69,000 to $105,000 salaries right after graduating the program. And the Careerist graduates that follow the job search steps actually have a 2 to 4 month average for landing their first role in tech. Not to mention, if for any reason you do not land a job within a year of graduating from Careerist, they have a 100% money back guarantee. So you can feel really good about the investment that you're making in yourself. If you are someone interested in remote work, they have career tracks like the manual QA one that will give you the opportunity to work remotely. So if you're interested in checking out Careerist and seeing what opportunities it can bring to you, regardless of what your background or level of experience is, check out the link in the description of this video to check it out. So going back into startups, I think another thing that I really enjoyed about startup life was the size of the teams. Now, I can't guarantee that if you pursue a career through a startup that you're going to be on a super small team like the ones I've been on. I've joined teams where there were 10 people on the team, and the first startup I worked for, I think we had 65 to 70 people on the team when I left. The team I'm on currently is less than 30 people. For me, being able to learn actual technical skills was integral on the fact that I was on a small team. I would have never been able to have access to the developers and engineers on my teams to ask them questions and to take up time with them at lunch to have them review code that I had written in my free time and to get access to resources to learn actual coding. If it wasn't for the fact that I had such a small team and had been able to build relationships with even the actual developers and engineers on my team. And even now, being, like I said, on a marketing team, in a marketing position, I am able to learn a lot more about the full scope of the business because I am able to access pretty much anyone on my team. If your goal is to get your foot in the door and then grow into things that you're really more deeply interested in, for example, I think that startups provide that opportunity for you to do that because you're not just stuck in the same position and growing from this level of that position to this level of that position to that one. You have option to like laterally shift also or diagonally shift into different things when it comes to startups. And yeah, I think that's pretty cool. Going along with that, having access to all of these people, let's say you do go through a Careerist course and get the foundational knowledge you need for a certain career track and you get your foot in the door in a startup. In my experience at a startup, I am doing my job, right? But whatever other things need to be done within the confines of that startup, whatever things can help contribute to the business, you are just open and welcome to give them a try, to do them. And that was something that really drew me into the tech industry when I was just getting started, because I was interested in a lot of what was going on. And even though I really enjoyed the quality assurance aspect of things, I also wanted to learn a little bit more of the development. I also wanted to learn a little bit more of how it was being marketed to the target audience. I wanted to learn a little bit of everything. And I was allowed to spend a portion of my time on the work that actually needed to be done. But any extra time that I might have had, hey, if I want to go join the marketing team and help them launch this new product, I can do that. Or if I want to go sit into a tech meeting because I wanted to learn more about some things that they're building, I could do that. And that gave me an opportunity to gain experience in a way that I wouldn't have. I felt like my career growth was really in my hands when I was working for a startup, and I feel like that now as well, where if I want to take the initiative to go learn something else and use that to inform what I'm doing in my current job, or if I want to start shifting into a new position that I might not have as much experience in, I feel comfortable doing that. And I feel like I will have the support to do that, because in startups, there's a lot less resources when it comes to people. So if there is value you can contribute to the company that align with your career goals, in a lot of cases, you will get the green light to do those things because the help is needed. So if you're someone who is just breaking into the industry and you want to ramp up quickly so that you can go from where you're at right now to more established, startups are a great place to do that. But if you are someone that's in the industry, but you find yourself feeling stagnant in your position or not really knowing where you're gonna go from where you're at now, startups will give you the opportunity to really hone your skills a lot more in whatever it is you want to do, and grow a more depth of knowledge if that's what you want, or more breadth of knowledge if that's what you want. So it's really up to you. Last but not least, and I pretty much touched on this throughout this video, you're really just learning as you go. And that does go along with the amount of experience that you're going to get. With startups, no 2 days look alike. A lot of the time, you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow or next week or in a month. Depending on where in the stage of growth that startup is, you might not really know what's going to happen in the next 3 months to a year. It might really be like, we're gonna try our best and see what works and continuously use that feedback to improve day after day. For those of us who appreciate that rewarding feedback loop where I am contributing something and I see the fruits of that labor through a sale in the business or something like that, that's super rewarding to me. And I think that's why I really love the startup life, because it's a lot easier to see the impact that your individual contributions are making. So I've talked a ton about what the pros are about startup life and how it has impacted me. And I will say it, I will be the first one to say it. If I had to do it all over again, I would, 100%. But there are some cons to startup life as well. I would say the culture is really built upon hustle culture a lot of the time. That's not very fun. And I think that depending on the culture of that specific company, you might find yourself feeling very overworked. And the same things that I listed as benefits, like having opportunity to do a lot more stuff, can also lead to burnout and things like that, which I very much so have experienced. With startup life comes its own problems, same as with a more established company. But I would say my biggest word of advice, if you do decide to pursue an opportunity at a startup, is just to make sure that you are making self-care a priority. Over this last 5 years of really mostly being at startups, I have found that if you make self-care a priority, the kind of hustle and bustle of startup life is a lot more manageable. And just set those expectations with people that you work with as well. Set boundaries with the people that you work for. When I first got started, I wasn't doing that, and I definitely paid for it through a lot of burnout. I could talk all day about startup life, and if you guys have questions, please leave them in the comments. I'd be happy to have more conversation about this or continue the conversation in another video or in the comments. But like I said, I hope that this kind of gives you an idea from my own personal experience in working for startups, how impactful it can be for those of us who are just breaking into tech. And being someone like me who started from no experience, no background in tech, and not even a thought to get into the industry, to gaining experience, getting into management positions, and being able to forge my own path and experiment to find what sort of position really fits me and the skill sets that I have has been super fun, and I think shows the impact that startups can have on your career, especially because I was able to do that in 4 years, go from zero to experience to a well-paid person in a very unique career that I forged on my own. So you can do the same thing. That's literally my whole point in creating this video and just sharing my experience with you guys. So hope it sparks something within you to give startups a try, or even to share your experience in a different startup type of environment. Anyway, if you are starting from no experience, make sure you go to the link in my description and check out Careerist. Look at the manual QA career track that they offer, or any of the other career tracks, and see if it's the right fit for you. As always, guys, I love you, I'm rooting for you, and I can't wait to see you in the next one.